When I say, who's the master, you say, no.
What is up, guys? Showing Up the King here, back with another video, and today I am here to bring you my review for Young Justice episodes 3, 4, and 5 review. There's a lot to go through. Just to get a few housekeeping things out of the way, you are now in the Show Enough realm. I do anime reviews, comic reviews, I do toy reviews. I run a podcast called the Mag Nerd Podcast. You can follow the Mag Nerd Podcast on Instagram at MAGNERD Podcast. You can find me on Instagram. You can also find the on Instagram the link to the podcast. The podcast is also available on Twitter, Google Play, Stitcher, Apple Music. It's everywhere. Go support it. It's a lot of great content. I'll be recording an episode tonight or tomorrow. Also, I am also doing a room tour every year on my channel. I do a room tour where I show you my updated action, my updated video games, my setup. So this is what you're seeing right here is just my office, but I'll be doing a full review of all the action figures in my display case, as well as showing you guys my home theater. It's going to be really fun. That should be up this weekend. But without further ado, now that I've done all of the shameless plugs, let us jump into the review for Young Justice. Alright. So, the 3 episodes, out of the 3 episodes, the first one is titled, Private Security. That was episode 4. Episode 5 is Away Mission, and episode 6 is Rescue Op. Now, out of the 3 episodes, my favorite episode for pure fun factor would be Private Security. Private Security is basically an episode that was focused on the Harper clones and Dick. So we kind of jump back into the lives of the Justice League team after, well, not the Justice League team, I guess they're going to call them the Outsiders for right now. So essentially we find out that once the team left Markovia, Halo went to go stay with Artemis and Roy, and then what is his name? Brian went to go stay with Supergirl, and I said Supergirl, Superboy, and Magan, and then was that it? Yes, it was just those 2. Oh, and the Doctor went to go stay with Black Lightning. God, I'm getting my names all messed up. When I say stay, I don't mean they're staying together. I mean he put her up in the Luther Hotel. So the 3 of them are kind of like displaced right now. They're back all in the United States, and they're just trying to figure out what to do with them next. Now, this episode, actually, the reason why I enjoy this one so much on just a pure enjoyment factor is because it shows the other side of DC that people like to make fun of. People like to say, oh, DC's dark, and oh, DC doesn't know how to take things, they only take things seriously, they don't know how to have any fun. And I really enjoyed the fact that they were able to come in this episode and give us a light-hearted, like, action, still action-packed, but just kind of like a light-hearted way to show that, hey, we know what episodes 1 through 3 were, but just know that we can also have a little bit of fun like Marvel. So I really enjoyed that episode a lot, and basically just a synopsis of that episode as far as like the meat and guts, because what I also didn't realize is that there are a lot of people out there as well that don't have access to DC Universe, that have not been able to watch this on any regular way. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more descriptive of what is going on in each one of these episodes, knowing that there are people out there who have not seen the episode themselves. But just to let you guys know, I do talk in the realm of spoilers, and like I said, I will get to the tag that you see in my headline of the actual video, because yeah, that shit actually did happen. So I will get there, just be patient. So again, Private Security. So now we do know that Roy, or William, he now runs his own company, and is basically called Bow Hunter Security. And so now he's kind of like doing his civilian thing. You can even tell that he has his little dad pouch, and he still has his daughter that he's raising, and Artemis and them are living together. So Dick comes and he's like, hey, I need your help. And, he thought that he could bring all the other Harper brothers. Now here's the funny thing. I knew about Arsenal from last season, but I did not know that Guardian himself was also a Harper clone. Like, maybe I missed that in one of the last 2 seasons. Maybe it was like a small detail. So there are 3 Roy clones: Guardian, Arsenal, and then just Roy. But we all know the original one is technically Arsenal, right? Yes, I think so. So I think Arsenal is the original, and then Roy, aka William, is the clone of Arsenal. And then I don't, again, like I said, I'm not familiar with Guardian and who his clone came from. I can't remember. So if one of you guys know, just let me know in the comment section below, because that completely went over my head. I completely forgot about that. So Dick comes and he recruits all 3 of them to kind of help him take down a location that was suspected to be the one that the boom tube from last week. They took those kids, and he's trying to follow up on that lead. So one of the conditions of Dick getting the help from William is that William wanted them to help him out throughout the day with his security gig. So they agree, and the hilarity ensues. So essentially what happens is that the VR goggles. Now again, I am making a prediction. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that these VR goggles are going to play a huge role at some point in the season. Maybe not in the first half of the season, but maybe in the second half of the season, because every episode you just keep seeing these goggles pop up in some way, shape, or form. In this episode, you see that Bowhunter Security is basically helping these things get delivered all over the world. They're apparently very, very popular, top-of-the-line VR goggles. People are walking around in the streets with them on their head. Every episode so far, we have seen these goggles in some way, shape, or form, and that's what we call foreshadowing. So again, those goggles will come up in some way, shape, or form. Again, I don't know if this is going to be a situation where this is like some sort of Starro tech, and then, they're using the goggles to get everybody in the world so they can take over their minds and see how people are dependent on technology. Or is this kind of like The Light and Lex Luthor trying to move on from Reach Soda onto, the VR goggles? We don't know yet, but again, I can guarantee you it ain't good. So again, we come to find out that Brick and a group of his thugs are the ones that want to take all these goggles, and then basically Team Arrow is trying to stop them after they steal all the goggles. They're trying to track them down. And again, like I said, it was just good, clean, fun. Brick fails miserably trying to get the goggles and get away with them. We get some fantastic Arsenal action scenes when he pulls out his gun and he puts it on his arm. Now that thing has a taser. It always had like a grapple hook, but now it has like a really strong taser. Again, overall, it was a really enjoyable episode. Also in that episode, we do find out that like I said, Breon is very upset still. He's still trying to come to grips that, his brother basically kicked him out of the country. So he's still trying to do that. Again, it looks like Halo. Again, Halo still is my most interesting character so far in the series. I really enjoy how her character is developing. Again, we do find out in episode 2 that she does get a new power. I will talk about that very soon. But like I said, overall, on just a pure enjoyment factor, Private Security episode 4 was my favorite enjoyable episode. Now, as far as what the fuck happened goes, episode 6 is that episode, Rescue Mission, a rescue op. But I'm gonna get into that in a second. I'm gonna briefly talk about Away Mission. Away Mission, and again, when I say not my favorite episode, I don't mean that as if it's a bad episode. I just mean that to me, it felt like an exposition dump. It felt like it was just, hey, we need to recruit this bug guy so he can be on the team. How do we do that? So we get introduced to New Genesis, and Bear from New Genesis comes back to Earth to recruit Superboy and his squad because they're having some issues with the bugs, and come to find out once we actually make it to New Genesis, there's an actual whole team. So we get Wonder Woman, Wonder Girl, we get Static, we get Blue Beetle, we get Impulse or Kid Flash, and then we also get... it looks like her and Blue, whoever this chick is, her and Blue Beetle are kind of like an item, but I do not remember who she is. Like, if somebody can let me know in the comment section, the girl that was holding onto the arm of Blue Beetle, she kind of has like a teleportation power or like hex magic or something like that. I cannot remember who she is. She's also on this mission, and again, the reason why I kind of felt like this episode was lacking a little bit is because, again, I just felt like it was an excuse to get the bug guy on, or I'm just going to call him Meek, because that's essentially who he is. He's Meek from Marvel, the guy from Planet Hulk. They basically share the same characteristics. The only other big revelation that we get from New Genesis when we're there is that at first it looks like Orin is basically like looking down on the bugs, but come to find out that it's Magon's brother, her biological brother, not Gar. But, you know, we find out that he's basically been on New Genesis trying to start a ruckus and try to start an upheaval with the bugs. But again, if anybody knows anything, we all know that this is probably Darkseid sticking his fingers in from the shadows, manipulating things, because we know whenever you introduce New Genesis, we have to also talk about the Apocalypse Planet. So again, I'm hoping we get some granny goodness. We get some good shit. Bertha is going to be great. So like I said, overall, away mission from my perspective, out of the 3 episodes, probably the least fun. But again, it was still a solid episode. It just wasn't my favorite of the 3. The only other huge thing that we got from an away mission is that Halo and Brion, they both had started their training. Brion more so just trying to control his anger. You know, he did a lot of like shot training, trying to hit things from afar. Halo developed a new color, so we're starting to realize now that her colors are focused on her abilities. We now know when she glows red, that's kind of like a not teleportation, like a protection bubble. Or it could also be used as shields, and she can also levitate and fly with the red aura. Now, when she has she got a new aura. It's kind of like yellow/gold. That one is more like an energy projectile kind of ability where she's shooting out these beams. And then, of course, we all know that her purple auras when she's kind of either healing somebody or healing herself. So again, I'm starting to think the chick is immortal because, again, if what happens in episode 6, chick's got to be immortal. I mean, she's just OP. I'm just saying, she's OP. So that is episode 5. Now, episode 6. I'm not even going to let you guys wait any longer. So you know how like in episode 2 and 3 we got Plasmus? Episode 6 we get fucking Terra, and I'm not talking about Terra. I'm talking about like Teen Titans Terra. And again, and I wanted to mention this in my episode 2 review when they kept talking about the sister and kept saying Terra, and for some strange reason it didn't fucking click to my head that this could be the same Terra that they were talking about. Like, I even wrote it in the notes. I was like, Terra? I'm like, could they be talking about the tectonic Terra? Like, I might even have mentioned it in my first episode, or the episode of review I did last week. By the way, look at the annotation here. Over here, probably right here. A link to episodes 1, 2, and 3 will be in that annotation. So if you guys have not watched my review for episodes 1, 2, and 3, watch it, please. You know, my series review had over about 2,000 views. I do appreciate you guys for looking at that, but look at the review. It'll be over there. Okay, anyway, so back to the story. So at the beginning of episode 6, we see Black Spider, and he's doing his thing, his whole Peter Parker clone. He even mentions the fact that he needs to work on his quips, and he's actually an assassin for the League of Shadows. And he goes and he's at the very beginning of the episode, he's gone there to kill a mob boss. So he's chasing a mob boss around. A mob boss thinks he gets away, and then out of the blue, this gigantic rock just smashes and crushes him like a pancake. And then you pan away to the screen, and then you see this figure up in the rafters, and the person's, you can tell it's probably a girl, and the eyes start to glow red. So as I'm watching this, it's still not dawning on me. I'm just like, ooh, who's that? Maybe we'll find out by the end of the episode. Well, yeah, we did. So again, like, I don't know, maybe I was just being naive, but I did not see that shit coming. I really didn't. I didn't. So the episode Rescue Op is about Brian, Halo, the Bug, because I can't remember his name right now. They all thought it was a great idea to go to the League of Shadows island to find his sister after Robin figured out that that's where she was probably being held. Because again, once he came to them and said, hey, we might have found your sister. There's a person who died, and again, because that person has tectonic abilities, it might be your sister Tara. And once Robin said that, that's when the gears in my head started turning, and I was like, tectonic powers, Tara. I was like, what? Like, it was crazy. Like, I felt dumb at the same time, because I was like, sure enough, why the fuck didn't you know that? Like, come on, Megan. I mean, come on, listen. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I lost my shit when he said that, and I actually caught on. I was like, oh my god, they're doing Tara. So, oh my god, last week we got Plasmas. This week we got Tara. Oh my god. Oh my god. So once, that's all Brian needed to hear, and then he's kind of like, and then of course, and I'm like, come on, Dick. You can't tell somebody like that you might have found his sister who he's been searching for years, and then tell him that, hey, you can't go find her because that's basically, you're going up against the most dangerous man on the planet, one of them. And again, I do understand that, because again, we all know that Ra's al Ghul is not to be fucked with. But again, you're telling this to somebody who already has an attitude problem that is looking for a sister. You should have known that he was going to go after his sister. Come on, let's go. Let's be real, guys. So the group form their own hive, and they take a ship, and they end up going off to the island so that they can, the League of Assassins island, so that they can rescue Tara. So, of course, Robin and the crew, they go after them, and there's a huge fight. And again, it's actually a really good fight. I can't remember the name of the guy, but I guess one of the headmasters at the League of Assassins place, he's the one that trained all the League of Shadows members and trained Ra's al Ghul, and basically he whooped all of their asses. Halo, he broke Halo's neck. Like, he literally was just like turn that shit around almost a whole 360 degrees, and she was just like dead. And then Brian lost it, like he erupted with his power, and he got taken out. And then of course Ship got taken out as well by the same gun that he got used to get taken down with in the season 2 as well. The Dark World, the Apocalypse tech, they used that against Ship and took Ship out as well. They threw them all in jail, but then of course Halo's purple ability popped in and kind of brought her back to life again. So again, it's like, again, she continues to be that point of the show that just keeps me interested, because I'm like, what the hell is her deal? Because earlier when they were talking about New Genesis, she seemed to already know everything about New Genesis. So I'm like, who is this chick? And then on top of that, it's still weird, because when also in was it episode? I think it was episode 2, Away Mission, maybe it was. I think it was Away Mission. We found out that Dr. Fate has actually allowed Zatanna an hour a year to see her father. So he'll take off the mask. If you guys don't remember, in season 2, Zatanna's dad had to take on the mantle of Dr. Fate to get her free. So now, the Dr. Fate allows Zatanna an hour a year to see her dad. So that's, and when they went to go meet up with him, they had Dr. Fate scan Halo Violet, and that's kind of when he said that it's an old person in a new body. So we don't know if this is somebody that's kind of like using Halo's body for and giving her powers, or are these actually her metagene powers wakening up? We still don't know, because again, simple things like she didn't know what apples were, like Markovia didn't have apples, and she didn't know about like food and like stomach, like it's just like her memories is so weird that it's just certain things that just doesn't make sense. And then we're getting the flashbacks with Halo where she's saying things like when she gets her passport, we're seeing things like when she's going against members of Cobra, because I believe like on Markovia where there's like a war going on, one of the big bads that used the Cobra venom was there also fighting. He kind of looks like Blockbuster with the ripped up skin. I can't remember his exact name, but he was there as well. So again, it's Halo continues to be that character that keeps me intrigued to figure out what is her fucking deal. So back to Rescue Op, and the highlight of this episode for me, and again, it was something that was very quick, and if you blinked, you missed it. So the group shows up, so a quick fight ensues, and the members of this fight was the main guy who's training. I don't know his name. Again, if you guys know, let me know in the comment section. He's fighting. He calls in one member of the League of Assassins, and then we also get the other guy who has the Apocalypse tech, who can shoot the little things out of his chest. So it was those three against the League, and they had this short skirmish, and then Ra's al Ghul finally comes out and is like, hey, stop this, get the hell off my island, and the battle's pretty much over. Now here's what happens. So Tigress comes up and she's like, Ra's al Ghul tells them, look, I'm no longer a part of the light. I'm no longer the demon's head. I wonder who is. So Tigress asks him, is my father the new person in charge? Ra's al Ghul says no. And then she says, what about my sister? And then he says, get out of here. So they leave. Then the one member of the League of Shadows that just looked like he was just a nameless grunt, he has a memory lapse, and he's just like, dick. And Ra's turns to him and kind of is like, oh, so you're starting to remember again. And at that moment, I knew that was Jason fucking Todd. It has to be Jason. Think about it. If you guys have watched the movie or read the comics about Jason Todd was the Batman after Dick, but before Tim. So it's Dick, Jason, and then Tim. So Tim is the one that's now with Wonder Girl. Jason was the first Robin, and Dick was the first Robin, and Jason is the second Robin. And for those who don't know, Jason Todd was killed by the Joker and was beaten to death with a crowbar and blown up into a factory. And what ends up happening is that his body gets taken to what the hell is the place called? To the Lazarus Pit, and he's brought back to life. And then when he's brought back to life at the Lazarus Pit, he goes crazy. He becomes a vigilante. There's a whole big thing. But it looks like they might be adding in that small detail, because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm about 90% sure that was fucking Jason Todd. Mark my words. So when I saw that, I was just like, yo, Young Justice, man, you guys are fucking killing it. So that was the episode. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed. One last thing before I go. We also did get confirmation, because before I was talking about Oracle, and I was wondering whether or not they were going to go down that road with Oracle to say that did she get shot by the Joker, and is she in a wheelchair? And yes, we did confirm that her and Dick are a couple, and she is in a wheelchair because, again, I'm assuming that she got shot by Joker, because as far as the stories goes, that's usually how it happens. But again, I'm looking over my notes. I think I touched on everything. Yes, I did. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, ring bell notifications. Magnerd Podcast, showing off the king. Have an awesome day, guys.